This part is going to be a little bit more boring, at least in the sense of this is a lot. At least in the sense that this is going to be very repetitive. Basically, we have the last here to as part of the poor man's fiberglass basically, yeah, there's glue underneath this canvas, there's more glue on top of this canvas. We are going to keep putting glue on top of this canvas until I run out of this gallon, and then I'm covering it with as many coats of paint as I can get out of this gallon of paint. But until we get there, I gotta use up the rest of this. And if you're noticing some of these barer spots, especially right down here, that's where we have especially a need to apply some of the paint. If I tilt the camera up just a little bit, you can see where that's some of the day's earlier stuff before I decided to try using Restream today. So for those of you who have opinions about how I live stream, this is using Streamlabs on Android with Restream.io, using the free versions of everything, by the way, because hopefully I'm not actually doing this long enough to feel the need to pay for professional stuff. But if enough of you like this, maybe I will. I mean, hopefully I'll get this done faster than it makes sense to actually pay for anything, but who knows. Just so you know, this is going to be some degree, more or less some degree of the stream for the next few hours. So, if this is what you're here for, then congratulations. If that's not what you're here for, then you're other parts of the trailer that need to be worked on as well. But this is what I'm dealing with right now, just because obviously things need to be left to dry. If I can finish using up all of the glue right now, then while that's drying, I can be working on other portions of the trailer. Like I've got a new nose wheel jack that needs installing because my current one is only rated for about 1,000 pounds, which is pretty close to the limit that we're currently encroaching here. Let's see how. Hey, this Craftsman crate works great as a stool for right now. That's gonna make this a lot cozier and a lot cozier and easier on the rest of me. Let's see, what am I? See, okay, so I've got the nose wheel that needs to be dealt with. That's important. I've got some wiring to work on the interior. I'm only caring about the parts that actually, go inside the interior walls right now. I figure my partner will be able to work on the rest whenever I can get their attention back onto this task. But right now I'm trying to get as much done over the long weekend as I can. So I've got that much going on. Let's see here. So mentioned the, let's see, I mentioned the nose wheel, I mentioned the wiring, I mentioned, and you know, obviously once I use up the remaining gallon of this glue, then it's paint and more paint and more paint. So. And yes, I'm aware there's all sorts of wrinkles and you know, lots of other little things. Like I probably need to go attack this with a little cut-off saw, just because this is already sort of getting on my nerves a little bit there. It's sitting on here. Mallet. Yeah, so in case. This, what is this? So I'm basically using this paint roller tray and a special Type Bond brush. I think it's actually called a Type brush. You know, specifically to be used with this wood glue, and I say that because it has silicone bristles that will bend and flex and make it really easy to, you know, when you're trying to clean up after yourself, you wait for the brush to dry, and it all just comes off in one hardened, congealed mass, which doesn't sound all that appealing at first until you realize that it's a lot cheaper to be able to reuse this in the long run than it is to keep having to toss out paint rollers and paint brushes, because they basically harden into uselessness. One of those ask me how I know type tricks there, but so they mentioned doing lots of things with the poor man's fiberglass. They kind of gloss over that detail, which I think is unfortunate. I also think some of this may just be because they're assuming that you may be building this. You may be building this with all of the pieces flat and not necessarily assembled. In my particular case, we're doing it this way. Basically, the wooden shell was already assembled, and when I got it, and it was originally intended for aluminum as the exterior coating rather than the poor man's fiberglass, which aluminum is expensive. So actual fiberglass is expensive. This is how canvas, and it would have been cheaper if we had been using a brush like this all along. Because we wouldn't have been spending as much money on brushes. Yeah. I'm doing this without my earbuds in, so I'm hoping that the audio works here. If it doesn't work here, I already ordered a new microphone on Amazon. Should have a nice replacement for that, just because someone convinced me that this was that going ahead and investing in the new microphone was a good idea. It will be useful to have something to use as a baseline once we get that there. assume I don't know how I sounded with, I haven't exactly listened for how I sounded with the earbuds last night on Twitch. I think I actually spent a good chunk of that stream accidentally muted, so whatever. Maybe just as well. But either way, I'm used to, streaming my Animal Crossing island. I'm not used to streaming this build. But yeah, basically what you should be seeing as we get further and further along is, this, it's yellowing into this, it's drying into this yellow color, and the more coats we have of it, the yellower it will be. Which again, totally fine, totally what we are after here. See if I can, okay, that works conveniently. All right. The first one of you to talk about painting happy trees is I do not plan on painting. In a perfect world, I would like this to all be sort of uniformly yellow before I apply the paint. In this world, I'm just trying to, cover up as many spots as I can while we are putting on the... Woo! In a perfect world, I'm just putting on as many coats of this thing as my remaining gallon of Type Bond 2 will allow. And I probably need to super glue some places down. I probably need to do some caulks and seals for some of these, especially along these bottom edges, which, most of the other edges of this are going to be covered with windows and doors and, professionalism. The other parts, maybe a little bit less so. If I knew what I was doing, it would be less entertaining. Probably would have been good to have mentioned this over on my Discords before hopping on here, but again, I'm getting, I'm used to this. Especially in terms of good stream hygiene, I guess would be the nice way to put that. What are all these little... Oh, those are air bubbles. That's interesting and also distressing. I'm wondering how concerned I should be about all that. I mean, granted, it's all part of the structural integrity now, and hopefully, I realize I'm probably hoping that more coats of paint will cover up a lot of sins, but I haven't. The more of this that I can get done now, and get done on my own, the less I'll have to ask, actual professionals to do later. So. Yeah, I mean the one good. There's other parts of the trailer. This is just the front of the trailer, and truthfully, this is probably going to be covered with. I'm thinking of, maybe a little bit higher up on the trailer, just to give it a bit more protection on the road. I'm also, still looking into getting a tongue box. I may have. Pour in Type Bond, and pour Type Bond into tray, use Type Bond in tray, and tray gets empty, pour more Type Bond in. Hopefully we will get this done a little faster if I, just keep painting. I know a few Jackson Pollock style paint bombs are not terrible. Someone just parked their car in the space next to mine. Yeah, I'm working in a carport right now, so I get all of the advantages of working in a space with a roof, but I still have to share it with other people. So. So I still need to cover a lot more ground, maybe a bit of misnomer. Definitely put more glue in that section. Yeah. The other advantage to using a little brush like this, I waste a lot less glue compared to how I was doing it before. Drip. Ah, right. It's actually got the